So you all, in front of you, included in your packets, have the polling location change requests for 2025. We'll start with Denellen. Denellen has put forth two scenarios. They prefer the first scenario, which would be removing 4 districts out of Lincoln Middle School and adding the firehouse, which used to be a polling location, and also the public library. And scenario 2 would be if you do not agree to remove all 4 districts, it would remove 2 districts and place them in the firehouse.
Is in connection with where these districts are, is any one more or less convenient for the voters that are going to be moved?
Based on the size of Denellen, no.
That's no. That doesn't tell me anything.
Who does this request come from specifically?
The municipal clerk.
Okay. So presumably on behalf of the governing body?
Both party chairs were
Notified?
notified.
And they have no objections.
And then it was, I see the other asterisk says that it was inspected and it's
They're both.
Suitable for the polling location.
Correct.
Yeah, Valerie, if you want to go into, and again, not for this election, but what the hope would be from the clerk about the firehouse, just as.
So the space in the firehouse, being that it was a newly built firehouse, the previous one burned down, the size of it is more than capable of housing all 6 districts.
wow,
Yeah.
that's a nice firehouse.
Safely, in case the, which part of the building?
It's the
I'm
upstairs,
sorry.
the entire upstairs.
Upstairs?
The entire upstairs, there's an elevator,
Yes, that's.
yeah.
Well, then I'll make a motion to go with their preferred scenario, scenario 1.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Chairman Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner John?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Next is McCutcheon.
Metuchen is proposing a permanent change of removing Metuchen High School as a polling location and redistributing those 2 districts, 1 and 3, into the other polling locations. And then based on registered voters, they would also move District 10 out of Campbell into Edgar.
And again, it seems that all locations were inspected and deemed suitable by you all, and all the party chairs were notified and there were no objections.
Correct. And attached, you have a map showing the districts and what the change would look like for voters.
All very good.
If we actually, I don't mind voting on it this time, but if we're going to vote on this, and we're going to look at these things, we should get this before.
You can,
I did not get, we did not get the voter changes.
I kind of had the same thought, like I would have liked to look at it.
I believe you
No, we
sent
didn't.
that, Tom.
Oh, we didn't, I didn't, unless it was sent this morning after I left.
It was sent
Yes,
yesterday.
attached.
The polling locations were not, but polling location changes requests were not included.
They
I
were.
don't want to argue any of that.
Did you get
However,
that?
I will tell you that as soon as I got some of the requested changes, I made some, as soon as I saw both chairs were in agreement, and I called a number of places just to make sure that in fact that was the case, and it had been discussed and agreed to. So if anybody's going to know best what kinds of changes go on, I apologize. Obviously, you want to look at the site area, other than just having it checked by.
Certainly, that's a valuable perspective, so I'll make a motion to accept Metuchen as well.
And I didn't just call Metuchen.
Well, I didn't.
Motion was
I
made
called
second,
I
but
called a number of them.
Maybe I missed something, but I got an email yesterday that included both agendas and the administration reports.
No, this email with the map was sent by Tom.
It was sent on Tuesday.
Okay.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
Okay.
Chairman Engel?
Commissioner Moskowitz, you're okay with this?
I'm fine, yes, as I said, I made some calls, if I had any questions or
That's
concerns.
what it was going to
I
be.
guess.
Chairman Engel?
Yes.
Commissioner John?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Okay, Milltown, Milltown is making the request to remove the 2 remaining districts from Joyce Kilmer School and relocate them to the municipal building. That municipal building was inspected and it is not suitable for adding an additional 2 districts. It is very small.
You saw mine.
Their major concern with Joyce Kilmer School was the electricity in the polling location, and that was inspected and verified to be working. It's that the poll workers do not set up the location based on our diagram, and that's why there's problems.
All right, well, I don't think we have to vote in the negative, so we can just,
Yeah,
thank you for that.
I've been in both, over time, I've been in both the municipal building
Right.
and the Joyce. Lectures,
Monroe?
yeah.
Yep, just for your awareness, Monroe was at the tennis pavilion for the Regency community, and they are moving back to the original clubhouse because construction is complete. Our next location is Old Bridge, which you also have pictures included on what they submitted to use as a polling location. In the past, we've always used the gymnasium of the high school, and due to, I guess, sporting conflicts or potential availability of the gymnasium, they are requesting to use the main entrance vestibule, but they are not willing to move any furniture, and they're very limited on outlets.
Was that the school we went to?
So that's been deemed to be unfit.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. So now South River.
Well, but, so what are they doing? They're giving the other site.
They're not proposing using the gymnasium, so
They can't use the, obviously, they're destroying the floor, which is, I'm sure, part of the reason why.
well, there could potentially be a volleyball tournament during our general election. In the last year, they submitted for, I believe it was the school in front of the high school, and they're not willing to submit for that this year. South River is requesting that we move from St. Mark's, which was formerly St. Mary's, to a new church called Legacy. And you can see with the attached maps where that would displace the voters. And again, the mayor and the local party chairs are in agreement with this move.
I'll make a motion to accept that.
Second.
Commissioner Minnick?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes. So just so I'm clear, so Tom, we don't have to, I'm sorry, may I speak?
Yeah, I was, you can go ahead. Mine is a different question.
So we don't have to vote on the negatives and we don't have to vote on Monroe?
Monroe is just going back to its original location, so.
No,
just for
I
your
understand what they're doing, I
awareness.
just want to make sure we're all voting on
Locations.
Monroe.
Well, if you, and again, it's
I'll
up to
make,
you.
let's just take care of it. I move that we accept the full report, including the ones that we were just, so we cover that. In other words, the rejection, we're not moving something, we're saying we're not moving something. We acknowledge that the Monroe is moved, et cetera, et cetera.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Minnick? Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Katz?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Can I speak on this? Yeah, the reason I didn't reject it is we've taken the prior stance that we didn't want to reject things, so failure to vote on it would just keep the status quo. But my question goes to what steps we take to notify people, you know, that their polling location has moved. I remember hearing this before, but I just like a refresher in that, and just to, determine if there's anything different that we need to do in 2025.
The municipal clerk will then request mailing labels for all the registered voters and send out a mailing that their polling location has changed.
Is there anything done on social media?
That, not that I'm aware of, it might be based on that municipal clerk.
Okay, why don't we ask,
I have one more follow-up question to that. And there's nothing that we do, that has never been our responsibility?
Correct.
Okay.
Send out the letters.
And then the sample
Yeah,
ballot.
but I had even commented on the original paperwork, that in fact, the concern goes back to the borough clerk, correct, in terms of notification? He
Yes.
said that to you, and I assume that your answer would have been yes, the borough clerks are working on that.
Yeah, if the borough clerk is requesting the change, then they will send out the notification to voters.
Commissioner Katz, you wanted to
yeah,
say
why
something?
don't we suggest to each municipal clerk that, one, they include the change on their website, and if they have any social media page, that they include it on that as well.
Yeah.
Just suggesting.
That's fine. And I know that some in the past have used Nixle and other avenues to be able to update voters on that.
Do we ever put signage on the day of?
Yes.
Yes.
To advise? Okay,
Yes.
very good. Thank you.
And again, we talked about, we talked about signage a couple weeks ago, and that for locations where it's moved from one to the other, that we'll do it in all three languages,
So we do that?
Yes,
That's
we
not
will
good,
do
because
that.
I'd be the one to show up at the old polling place.
Okay, next is the
I
administration.
believe Scott, did you have?
If I could just ask one question. So I know that there was some other conversations and information gathering, as there always is from municipal clerks about potential changes. Obviously, these are the ones that the clerks have asked for, and that's what we can decide on. But, I just wanted to, I guess, ensure, I know that there seems to be a movement to take polling places, from a municipal perspective, to take polling places out of schools. A lot of school districts I know are requesting that. Is there any other, I guess I'm assuming we continue to work throughout the year with municipalities as they search for alternative options and locations.
Administration reports. Sharonda, you want to speak on this report?
Sure.
Early voting.
Early voting, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Let's go back to early voting.
So it wasn't, again, it's not properly labeled in terms of the sheet, but it lists 10 locations for early voting that we shared yesterday. The only change in terms of early voting sites would be in Old Bridge, which had previously used the Old Bridge Library. Again, from concerns from the library, as well as just spacing, Old Bridge offer the Richard Cooper Civic Center, which has a larger space in terms to accommodate early voting. It's in the same complex, same parking, so again, it wouldn't be that much of a move for voters in terms of that location. So that would be only change. And Monroe offered an additional room in the library if we needed it for early voting in terms of turnout. With a larger turnout, we could use the second room for early voting.
Really?
Comments?
Yeah, I agree, I definitely agree on Old Bridge. I've been in both rooms, I think we know, he's already said it's larger, so larger is better on that part. At Monroe, I don't know how we can end up having two rooms that are not contiguous with each other as a location. It's helpful, although I'm not sure the library is open. The room that we use is right at the entrance, and they can keep that open regardless of whether the library is open or not. But any other room that they would give us is inside the library, and I don't see how that would work. What precipitated that offer? Just because there were a lot of people there?
Again, it was just reaching out to clerks and seeing if there are larger venues within their towns for early voting.
Okay. I don't see, for Monroe, I don't see that would be practical.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Moffitt.
So where it says staff recommended moving, it was their staffs, not our staff?
Our staff, the board staff.
Because I thought you agreed that it was not a good choice to make that move.
No, Old Bridge is fine. Old Bridge is good, Monroe is not.
Did you not agree that making it in two separate areas was not working?
That's Monroe. Yes, that's
Whichever
Monroe.
one it was, just at the bottom it says staff, okay. This is all on the same sheet.
Okay.
So you did or did not recommend it?
What's that? Oh, for the two separate rooms?
Yes.
I'm not a huge fan of that. Because we have supervisors and I feel it would be very difficult to split supervisors up and staff. You know, that's just my opinion. I'm a nobody.
I agree with you.
Read it, there's no doubt.
Sorry, Don, I didn't mean to say.
Right?
Mean,
Oh my God.
I know what you meant.
We're rejecting Monroe, are we?
No, it's, no, we
Just
reserve the
they
location,
offer it to
just,
us, I don't think we're getting it.
we won't be probably in the other room,
Okay.
which is fine. We have a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Chairman Linder?
Yes.
Commissioner Jean?
Yes.
Commissioner Cast?
Yes.
Commissioner Moskowitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.